episode. And today I'm going to talk about the reasons why I switched to Mastodon. And Mastodon has been such a popular um, platform that I had done videos here recently on Mastodon and what I like about it. But here today, I'd like to talk to you about why I switched over to Mastodon and everything and give you guys a little bit of a broad view of it. Um, and I know a lot of people are asking me, well, why does he not have Mastodon on the screen right now? Um, the reason why I don't have it on the screen right now is I wanted to take a minute and just kind of give you a little bit of an overview as to why I switched over. And one of the reasons I switched over to Mastodon was because of the fact that Twitter had been a great place to hang out and stuff. And then I don't know when it was I was removed from there, but it was a long time ago. And, I tried to re register. And then I think it was like a day later. Yeah, it was like a day later. And then the first time they gave me a what they called a trial pass and everything, and they said how long the trial pass is going to last, meaning like you pretty much couldn't post anything, you couldn't if you did like additional likes on things, and I think it was a certain amount of likes you were allowed to do on or follows rather, you could only follow so many pages at a time. And then after that, they basically just cut you off. See you later. Uh, Tried other deals that I had on Twitter, and then I think it was a few seconds later, they said, well, you can't do that either. And I asked them, okay, why can you not do that? And apparently, they got this one weird rule on there that if they know that it's the same IP address, they automatically just say, boom, you're gone. Um, and I was not aware that X, otherwise known as Twitter, was tracking IP addresses. I had no idea that they were doing that they were doing that kind of thing. And, back in the day, they used to never do that. They used to never, track IP addresses or anything like that. So that was kind of the downfall and everything. That was the downfall for when it came to me and Twitter. So I made the switch over to Mastodon and everything and decided, hey, let's give this Mastodon thing a try. Um, see what it's like. I had been on it before because I had joined a um, server from there, which I was not aware of. I completely forgot that I had joined that server. And so I went back and at first I created a instance on one of the servers that which I still have, by the way. I still have that instance. It's up and running right now. And I got a ham operator one again. I accidentally deleted my ham radio Mastodon server, not knowing that I had, that I must have been asleep when I did it. So I made a new one the following day, and and it got approved within a day. The new one on the Mastodon.radio server, it got approved within a day. So not only do I have Mastodon.radio, but I also have my personal Mastodon server, which I follow all the news feeds and things like that. And a lot of the TV stations Um, as far as local, they have not made that plunge yet. I am kind of waiting to see if um, the other affiliates here in my local area make that plunge. Um, I think they're waiting to see what happens with with X in 2025. They're waiting to see how far it goes before it just says, as I would say, off of the face of the earth, and nobody decides to use X anymore. And already, I had heard numerous podcasts talk about how um, X has made so many changes. They're not, they're doing things without letting users know. And that kind of disturbs me a little bit that they're not very forthright with their um, deal as far as why they're doing it and their whole reason behind it. Um, but anyway, getting back to Mastodon. So I've been on Mastodon now for, um, as far as the ham radio one, I've been on that one since the 15th of um, this month. I've been on the ham radio one since 15th. It was when I registered, and I I still haven't figured out how they figure that all out about the registration side of it and how they basically register you on the system. I've never really dabbled in that a little bit, see what's going on. Uh, but I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the Mastodon experience. It's one of those that I will never forget about it. And my dad sees me using it constantly because he came in, I think it was today. He's came in a couple of times and seen my instance up on the screen, like my news one. He's seen me use that, and he's seen it looked a lot like Twitter, but he said I can only get it to do just the one thing. That was because he's using his phone. Now, if he was to use the computer and have Twitter pulled up on his computer, he can do the multiple windows on Twitter, but it's a big time workaround and you got to do all sorts of stuff. Whereas with Mastodon, it's not much of a workaround at all. You just go into the properties of your Mastodon and tell it, hey, I want those three things shown. I want my followers shown, I want my notifications shown, and I want, maybe I'll put the live uh, threads, basically, put live threads on so that I can see what's going on in the threads. And you could have it set to the people that you follow, basically, who are leaving posts, and you could see them in a thread and see what's going on. Or you can do the local one, which basically is the server that you're on, and you can see what everybody else is posting on that particular server. So it kind of made sense to me to um basically use that option. And you could do whatever works for you, whatever you think is the best thing to do. But personally, I like that option that you can go in and choose whatever instance you want, and it's kind of a nice little thing to do. Um, as far as phone apps are concerned, you could start out free with the free Mastodon app. Um, I can't get notifications to work on the Mastodon app for some reason or another. I can't get the notifications to work on that. Um, the one I actually chose for as far as apps are concerned was Mona. Now I took all of my Mastodon things off um, for right now because I was gonna look at some other apps or kind of say, yeah, just go back to Mona, be done with it. The only thing that I found wrong with the Mona app is that it does not notify you of things. In my case, because I'm in the country and I live in a country where or outside of the country, and everything. And when you live out in the country where it's just nothing but land, it's starting to be houses now, but um, it has a lot of trees behind it and stuff like that. And when you live out in the country or in the middle of what I call no man's land, you don't get a signal up here. I'm surprised I could get calls on my cell phone with the amount of coverage that we have. But anyway, getting back to the apps, Mona is a really good app. It works well. You will get notifications using the app. Um, but if you're like me and you live out in the country, you will not get the pop-up notifications, which is my only con about that app, is you don't get the pop-up notifications if you live out in the boondocks. But once you get back into the city, it's like, oh yeah, you're being bombarded with notifications and everything, and it's crazy. The Mastodon app, for some reason, it does not do notifications very well. I don't know what the deal is with that app, but they just can't seem to get it right. Um, and everything. So I've kind of been like, okay, trying all these other apps, and most of these apps, they're on a paywall and they all want money for them. And the only two that you have an option for is this one that's on I'm still on the trial period with the Mona app, and then I will make a decision as to whether or not I want to buy the one-time fee for it. And they've got two pricing tiers, which is really confusing. Um, they got one pricing tier that's a little lower in price, and then they got the higher pricing tier that's a little higher in price for that app. So, um, if you do decide you want to do anything with it, um, the trial period basically what it unlocks is the ability for you to post on the app. If you use the free version, you can only view things on your timeline and stuff like that. So you can't post. You can't post anything on your local thing or on your national. You can only view. Um, which is what I discovered with the Mona app is you can only view on there. You can't post there. It basically just grays it out. Um, so if you're just wanting something to view your posts on or anything like that, then yeah, you can use Mona for that. But if you're wanting to post on there, what I suggest is doing like me, get the 14-day trial and then decide what you want to do from there. Or you can get the Twitter app, or the Mastodon app, excuse me. I know I'm being corrected right now. You can get that and basically post to your heart's content. And I don't know what the speed in which is that your posts get on Mastodon itself, how long it takes, but I know it's relatively quick though. I know it's actually very quick and not a hard thing at all to do. I mean, I would definitely say, yeah, if you haven't done it yet, you need to do it. I don't know how many of my listeners out there are still in the house of Twitter, but I've moved over to Elephant's house, as one of my favorite tech people was quoting. Like, um, I made the move over to Elephant's house now, and it's kind of like one of those things. You know, you get hooked into it through a, I don't know, word of mouth perspective, or you watch a video like this one, or you go on, just do a switch for Mastodon videos, and you'll find a ton of videos related to Mastodon. And it's kind of like one of those things where Mastodon's just kind of the new kid on the block, but they've been around for a while. But ever since Elon Musk took over Twitter and everything. And I got to tell you, listening to one of my favorite tech guys talk about how Elon Musk, of all people, put a obscene post on his Twitter feed talking about something that was just so inappropriate that, he exited. And it was like you're getting posts from the owner of X talking about explicit content. It makes you want to leave uh, Twitter and come over to Mastodon because it's terrible. I listened to that clip several times on um, the guy's podcast and everything. And if you're wondering, it's if you do a search for Twit TV or whatever, I think is what it's called, TWITT TV, or you know, however he pronounce it. You go on that and you listen to these podcasts, and or you can just do a search for podcasts. And the guy that I follow is Leo Laporte. Just do a search for him, and you'll see his podcast on there, and you can subscribe to that podcast and just listen to some of the stuff, especially the stuff that talks about uh, the X there. You could see all that stuff. Now, here's another thing that is really shocking because I found this out a couple of days ago, and I'm trying to remember when it was, but I heard that Elon Musk is regretting the decision that he made to buy Twitter. He's actually regretted that decision that he made to buy it. And of all things, he's trying to resell it. He's trying to resell the thing because he regrets that he made that decision to buy the social network. And it it threw me for a loop when I saw that. And I got to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody would want to buy it. I don't know if anybody would want to buy it. Now, I'm not going to say the person's name or anything, but I think if push came to shove, our former president, not Biden, but the other one, I have a feeling that if push came to shove, he would buy it. That is just my thinking, is that he would buy the thing and just combined it with the social network that he owns. And that's another thing. I went over there and looked at it. I looked over at the social network that he owns and operates. It doesn't look very tempting. And my only thing is that it doesn't look very tempting because I would not make that switch to that particular social network. I would have not made that choice, and that's just my opinion. And, you know, I mean, if you're a ham operator, there's Mastodon.radio. There's a ton of Mastodon instances out there. They even made one for foodies. So, like, if you like food, which, yeah, I love food, but I wouldn't want to be seeing pictures of food all day. I that would make me hungry just seeing pictures of food all day. So they've got instances for foodies, uh, animals, cats and dogs, stuff like that. Just pets, like your pet cat, your pet dog. Um, they're constantly adding instances, as they call it. And you saw in one of my other videos where I showed you the um, deal with all the servers. But in my opinion, it's what your interest is. Do you like photography? Yeah, there's one for photography nuts, which, you know, it's constantly growing. The whole thing's growing. So, in short, I want to make this as short as a decision as it can be for you. Go with the server that interests you, okay? Or you go to one that you think is good, you like it, great. And if not, you can go to a server and then take the people with you once you get settled. You can move. So you can move from one server to another one. And the steps to that, to move from one server to another one, it's a little tedious, but I'll tell you, there's videos on YouTube that tell you how to move from one Mastodon server to another. And it kind of is one of those things where, yeah, you want to make that jump. Go ahead. Go ahead and make that jump and see what you think. Now, I am on Mastodon. I have been active on there. You're more than welcome if you're on the Mastodon.radio. You just search my call sign KF4BOG. I'm right there. You could follow me, see what I'm up to. Or if you're on one of the other servers, you can, search my first and last name on there. And if you just want to follow my personal one, it's Michael W. is my search name. Michael W. for the personal one. And for the ham radio, it's my call sign for ham radio. So you got two ways of following me. And I'm trying to get a third. But a lot of these people, they see you're on multiple servers and they're like, no, they look at it and they're like, oh, wait a minute, he's on multiple servers. Now, they make this thing where they say, yeah, you can sign up for multiple instances, but I seriously don't think you can. I don't think you can sign up for more than one. They say that you can, but personally, I don't think you can. Now, I'm signed up to those particular two instances, the ham radio one and the other one, um, the MSTDN server. I'm signed up to that. MSTDN.plus is that I'm signed at for my personal thing. And the only reason I signed up for two servers is like, okay, do I want to move everything? It won't move your posts that you have on the server, but it will move your followers to that server. And then what you could do, and I haven't experimented with this yet, I think you could actually export your posts and then import them to your new one. I think you can. I don't know. There's probably something out there that talks about importing and exporting and everything. But there's just so many things you could do with this thing with Mastodon. I was crazy. The thing that got me even more hooked was the 500 character limit on it. It was 500 characters. Now, how can you type up something in 500 characters and be like, "Oh my word, I could still type more." Now, this whole thing was developed, and I heard this, that it was you post a photo on there, you have to make sure you put a description of the photo, because people with disabilities are also on this server, and they actually have a server themselves that for people with disabilities, they can go on this, they could chat, they could post, but you got to make sure you put a description of it, because the other servers will freak if you don't put a description of what the picture is and what it's about. Some of these admins will freak out and say, hey, I'm going to give you a warning this time, but you got to make sure you put a description of what your picture is about. um, because they want to know. Because you'll have a bunch of people with disabilities, because they can see what you're doing. Some of them can, some of them can't. And that's why you have to describe what your picture is, because you got some people with visual impairments, cognitive impairments, any of that. And, Mastodon wants you to make sure you include a description of your photograph or something like that. It's mainly just for photographs. Everything else, you do a text thing, um, that's all fine and well, which is really good. And I am not sure, I've not tested this yet, but I imagine it's compatible with screen readers. I know that that's another thing. You're probably asking me, well, is Mastodon good for screen readers? I believe so. So, like, you can test that. You could see if Mastodon's good for a screen reader. I've not done it yet, but I could tell you if I have the time, I would do it. I would absolutely test it with the screen reader and see if it does work. And if you try it and you find that it works with the screen reader, then yeah, reach out to me and tell me, hey, this thing works with the screen reader. And yeah, I'll gladly, because I've got a screen reader program on my computer that I'm using, and I'll give it a go. I'll go on there and I'll see what's going on with it as far as that goes. Um, Now, like I said, I won't know anything about Twitter's exit probably until 2025. And that's not too far down the corner considering how fast this year's gone by and everything. Because you got a lot of people that are still on the other universe right now, and they're probably thinking, oh man, we got to scramble. We got to get the heck out of here. And I imagine it won't be too long that I start to see my local institutions get involved with Mastodon because I had brought it up with one of the agencies that I'm a part of. I said, hey, have you guys looked at this yet? And brought it up because it's an open thing. You could do what you want with it. Heck, you could build your own or just join one and not have to build it at all. I think a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, you have to build your own thing. No, you can just go to one of the other ones. Um, the one that got really popular, the server that got really popular once this whole thing with Twitter happened was Mastodon.social. Mastodon.social got so full, they had to shut the server down completely. They had to shut it down completely because they were so overwhelmed with registrations on their thing. They had to shut it down for a minute and get caught up with all the registrations that were going on Mastodon.social. There are some open ones that you could just go on and get right in. But me personally, if I was to do one, um, I would do Mastodon.radio if you're a ham operator, and then I would do um, the other one for if you're not, or find something that interests you because you're going to be like hanging around there. And what's really cool is if you join one particular category, like if you join the server for foodies and you wanted to find me on that particular instance, you can. You don't have to go to that other instance, register it, and then search me that way. You can search me from any one of those instances. You don't have to just, be like me and have two different servers that I join because, you want to keep things separate. Yeah. You join multiple things and you keep everything in one separate queue. But if, hey, I only have an interest in food or an interest in this or an interest in that, then yeah, go ahead, join that one. And you could find me on either the server that you joined. You could search both of my um, things and find me there, because it's so much easier to do that than just having to join one particular thing. So, yeah, what I would do is I would get my feet wet first and try it out. Find a server that's an open one that doesn't require approval first. And then if you say to yourself, okay, I want a little bit more um, privacy, you can go over to the ones that are operated by administrators and moderators. And the one that I joined, the Mastodon.radio, it took about a day and a half, because I registered on the 15th of this month, and then I got approved on the 17th. So there was actually quite a significant difference from when I registered again to when I got approved. And the other thing too, I actually asked the guy who operated it how long he's been doing it. And he's been doing that ham radio server for a long time. Long time. And I can't say nothing but thanks to the guy for doing that. That's a huge deal. Before I go, um, I just want to say one final thing, and that is make sure to like this video. And if you're on Mastodon, search for me on there, and I'll be happy to answer any direct messages that you want to post on Mastodon to me. Especially if you're a ham operator and you want to send me a direct message, I will respond to you, because I always have Mastodon going and everything. So, I'm reachable. Uh, so if you search my call sign on qrz.com or whatever, you'll find me there and everything. So be sure to like this video, subscribe, and have a wonderful day. I hope this topic was helpful in you making the decision, as well as many of the other videos that I've done about Mastodon. So have a wonderful afternoon, and 73s to all.